Welcome, everybody, to Trek Talk with Tech and Kirk. I'm Handy. We've got Kirk here and Driift at the moment.
And we're just talking shit.
We're talking trash, dumpster fire, something like that.
I don't. Yeah, we've due to unforeseen circumstances, we've had to sort of miss a couple of shows, so we figured we'll fire one up and just see what everybody's up to. If anybody's got any questions, comments, concerns, they hate us, whatever.
No concerns. We don't want to hear those.
Oh, I absolutely want to hear them. I'm not going to help you, but I want to hear them.
Yeah, so, don't hold your breath. Kirk ain't helping nobody.
Or hold your breath. I mean, well, depends on how much we care about you.
Fair enough.
Anyway, go ahead.
Well, another thing with this trade XP, I mean, just one pack, for example, is 72K. And if we're talking, I mean, you're talking 3 packs just to max one officer, right? I mean, that's steep.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's like 100. That's you need more than 3 packs to max an epic officer.
Anyway.
That's crazy.
What are you gonna do? You know.
Well, I think it's pretty neat. Actually, I like the fact that they've made away teams a little more interesting.
Okay, Mr. Rogers. I think it's neat.
I think it's neat. It's Bethel. So, I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out.
I think it's stupid. So what do you think about the OG Steve from Blue's Clues coming out and giving a message to the people, man? Message to the masses. What do you think?
What are you talking about?
Oh, fuck, you don't know. Does anybody in the audience know what I'm talking about?
No. Nobody knows what you're talking about.
No.
What are you talking about?
All right. Show's over. Go home, everybody. Jeez, oh, Pete, man. Wow.
Hey, what's up, Keith? So, come on up and talk, buddy.
So what do you think about how about this new mining officer?
I mean, I think it'll be useful, obviously. I mean, on some ships with some crew setups, especially with Synergy, wait, is it Synergy? I gotta look at the traits again. I'm not used to this officer yet. But I believe, where is it?
Yeah, he's basically T-Prane, but like as if his officer was maxed, like as soon as you get him. His officer trait is like 300%.
Well, I mean, it's a chick, but yeah, I know what you mean.
So so with Synergy, I mean, your protected cargo goes up to what?
300%, I think, right?
Well, it's 300% out the gate just by himself.
Yeah,
but you don't get Synergy.
Oh, that's only captain ability. My bad. So leveled up then is what I'm trying to say.
Leveled up probably is either going to go up by 50% or 100%. So you're probably looking at, anywhere between 500-700, something like that.
So
I think for low level players, this could be a real help. If they're fighting somebody, raiding them all the time.
Well, I think so too. I think it's specifically designed to go on the Meridian, right? Because it has some crap cargo protection. They're obviously trying to give somebody or give players a way to protect their stuff, right?
Yeah, but plus 300% of 2,000 protected cargos
it's nothing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's no, man. It's not. It's yet again in true Scopely fashion. It's exactly what we did not ask for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, protected cargo on the Meridian's more like 46K.
46,000% or something.
No, 46K protected cargo.
Oh, 46K protected.
If you take,
There's two ways to protect
And
cargo on Meridian, and I can explain it.
that's with I have Raphael DuPont on theirs, which adds 50% cargo protection. So, sorry, Key, go ahead.
If you want to protect your Meridian, there's real quick ways to do it. First and foremost, recall that bastard a lot. That's your first way to protect it. Okay.
Yeah, but nobody's got time for that.
Correct, and that's why if you're watching the research reasons, and I've done most of them, I've got my it's not necessarily protected cargo, but miners being protected when attacked, and protection of nodes when they're attacked. I have so many people hit my Meridians and just fucking die.
Yeah, I mean, so have I.
Yeah,
But it does
because I've
not
done that.
protect you. It does not protect you from your more powerful players that, like,
That it does, but do this math. Most of your more powerful players don't give a fuck and aren't out
That's
there
true.
raiding.
That's
Yeah,
true.
it's only your junior guys that are coming there doing all the shit. The ones that are struggling for it. The big guys are like, screw this shit. You know, if I could mine 1 million an hour, why in the hell do I want to go raid it? It makes no sense.
To be a dick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Other than being it. That's right.
Right.
Yeah, I try to explain that fact to most people. Like, just go and mine it. You get a free Meridian. Like, just put it on a node and forget about it. Like, why do you have to go around like hitting people for OPL? It's just stupid. Now
It
for
is, but a
G3
lot of
and all that stuff,
people would disagree with you. Or not a lot of people. Some people would disagree with you.
Actually, I mean, Nona got into 2 wars over it.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
You
Those
helped us
whiny
fight 'em.
bastards. So let's talk about something that Handy wanted to talk about. If anybody's down there that wants to jump in and chime in, or somebody that knows something about it, I don't know anything about it. We were talking about what's going on across the water in dark.
Well,
I
and
bet-
most specifically.
Oh, and most. Okay, well, Handy, you sound like you know something about it. So why don't you lay it upon us?
I don't know what's going on because nobody's really talking. But it seems like they're going through some kind of merger.
Oh, so here's the thing. We love speculating on this show. We don't give a shit. We're like the tabloids. So let's speculate, Handy. Come on now.
Well, I gotta believe they just want to consolidate power into dark, right? So that they can win more events, run more armadas,
Yeah.
generally cash in a little more on the game, right? Because traditionally, Nona's been in the past, not so recently, because all of our big players have run out of growing room, right? Until they release new levels, there's not a whole lot they can do. So a lot of these events, we're not winning anymore because there's no more growing room. And what are you gonna do? Build the third Tribune? Build the third Tribune like Inco's doing? You know? So
Yeah, that's boring. I have six ships that I don't damn need. So.
yeah.
I can't.
It's just getting boring for a lot of players. So anyways, I don't know. I guess, and maybe you know more about it, Key. I don't know if you've talked to people, but I also heard, don't know if this is true, so I'll just ask you. I've heard that somebody was saying that they did not want you to be in most, that you were not allowed to stay in most or something along those lines.
No, that was never said.
Okay. I didn't think so. I think that's outrageous. So I didn't really believe it when I heard it. So that's why I'm asking.
I have an invite to rejoin most right now. I don't know if y'all know or not, but I dropped tags.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were in most.
I was.
Oh, okay.
I was. But, I mean, quite honestly, I was there mostly to do training, trying to help people out. Take your lower players, and walk them through just, how to do armadas and stuff. And I was running armadas, spending money, rebuilding my expensive ass ships. And I ran 3 separate armadas in a row, just low level stuff like 120 million, regular general armadas. And they they got to where they wouldn't come for the first run. My ships, I can anywhere from a 60 to an 80 million, just regular Armada. I can beat it with one ship, no problem. But gets past that, I got hit 2 runs, and the regulars there around, in the lines, wouldn't show up for the first one. I did 2 things on AC, like, hey, you got this Armada going, y'all come help, But they all of a sudden showed up for the second one after my ship had done died the first time, and I done beat it down, 75%. I'm like, this is bullshit. Why are you coming now?
Well, I probably just didn't see it the first time.
Oh no, dude! I was typing the whole time on AC. Hey,
Well,
y'all come, and then people
I don't
typing
know
back.
what
And it's
level they are, but a lot of people still have a very long warp time to get there. I don't know if that's what it is. So if they didn't see it until
think about
5 minutes before it launches and then tried to warp,
True.
it could take them 10 minutes to get there.
Totally agree. But you also
So you never know. You never know.
We also have discovered, but they'd also the same ones that have been coming up to my models when I was doing them on the 60s and 70s and 80s earlier on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I was born on a day, but I wasn't born yesterday. Okay.
So you think people were taking advantage, letting you
Yes,
take
sir, I
damage?
do. Yes, sir, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, I do. I certainly do.
Possible.
After the third one in a row, and they kept all of a sudden they could show up to the second one, and these were run back to back to back to back to back to back. Okay, so I done killed basically 3 ships running 6 armadas, and not mention the fact that I ran the armadas with 7
Is that
spots.
part of why you left?
That's the exact reason I left.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to take anybody to race. I'm there to help you, work you along. But you're going to take some hits along with me. If I'm going to do this and help you, you're not going to wait until I beat it down, then come join in to get to enjoy the rewards. That's a bullshit move. I mean, I don't know if y'all agree with that, but that's my feelings on it.
Well, I agree with you if that was the intention. I'm an optimist, so I'm hoping that people just truly weren't paying attention.
Oh, there
realize.
There was a case of one who didn't realize, and he actually PM'd me separately, which was the correct thing to do. I mean, it got to the point to where right before I left, I'll go ahead and put this publicly. I told him, look, if any of y'all, because I ran a 4th one, I said, if any of y'all show up to this one on my second run of it, I said, trust me, I will drop tags and I will blow every one of your ships out of the sky. I said, you will not get along with these rewards. Because I done gotten that mad. And, because they done pushed me to that point, They kept showing up for the second one every time. When you do it 3 times, one time, coincidence. Second time, you're like, oh, maybe it wasn't. But third time, no, come on. Yeah. It was getting way too regular.
It's a first time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me, kind of thing.
Yeah. And then that third time, they showed up on that third one too. And like I said, I did it a 4th time, and I dared them to show up. But I didn't drop tags because of that. I just afterwards, just later, I just like, you know what? I'm done trying to. I can't. I'm here to teach. I want to help. I really do. I coach people all the time in this game through PMs and Discord and stuff. But if you're not willing to help yourself, then I'm not willing to help you. And I done had enough of it. And I just need a break. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go figure out something else to do for a while.
So what are we looking at here? I mean, does it seem like all the biggest power is just becoming more and more consolidated to the top alliances till pretty soon it's just going to be, you're just not going to have those half steps anymore. It's just going to be all the power here and the haves and the have-nots.
I think so.
That's what it's looking like. I
mean, I gotta say, it's extremely beneficial to do it that way. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, the people that... I don't necessarily want it that way. Like, I like the fact that NONA, for example, has a good mix of people that are free to play, people that spend a little bit, people that spend a lot, some people somewhere in the middle, all over the board. You know what I mean? And I like that personally. And I think most of our members do. But at the same time, it's got to be frustrating for a lot of players too, because they want to be involved and they want to participate, and sometimes they can't because their power level's not high enough or whatever. So I see why people would want to bring all the more powerful players into one alliance, and
Let me jump
you
in
know,
here. The reason powerful players need to be together. Period. Because the only way that powerful players are going to advance their gameplay is to be with other powerful players. It's not going to happen by taking along, a level 22, level 23, and coaching them through and helping them up the whole time. Yeah, it's nice to have your Armada, your alliance, and it's got 85 members in it. Trust me, I'd rather be in an alliance that had 25 level 50s in it. I'd be tickled to death. I really would. Because I know my gameplay would advance from there. And that's just the way I feel.
true enough. But what about all? I mean, everybody started somewhere.
Correct.
I mean, every level 50 here started out as a level 22 or whatever. And my point here is that there are many players in every alliance that are now very high level that when they started the game and for a long while thereafter, they didn't spend any money. And then the day came where they started spending a little, and then more and more and more, and now they're wherever they're at.
Right.
So you never want to discount anybody or ever put yourself in somebody's wallet. Like, just because they're not spending right now doesn't mean they won't.
I'm not
Just
saying they
because
won't.
they're maybe not your peer right now doesn't mean they won't be in the future.
Right, but
And I
my
just
point
hate to
is,
burn a bridge, when
I don't see it as burning a bridge. I see it as earning your way to get there. I mean,
Well,
every one of us here that are level 50s know what we've had to do to get here.
true.
We had to work our way to it. Nobody gave it to us. We had to work and grind and spend to get here. And whatever there's this preconceived notion across the servers, well, the 50s need to take care of everybody else. We don't mind helping, but it don't need. We're taking you to raise. And that's just my personal opinion. I'm not taking you to raise. I'll personally help you all again. But why do I want to cost my game RSS and money out of my pocket so that you can advance your game? But just because you're a lower level than me. Please explain that to me.
No, I would have to agree there. I mean, it's like, yeah, you want to help and stuff like that, but like, at the end of the day, you're not playing the game to be a charity case. You're playing the
Some people
game
do.
to get better, and but here's the thing: if you are okay spending all that money and spending all that time, and all you're doing is trying to get people and help people out and protect the smaller levels, like that's up to you. But I don't think that people should kind of try to force that mentality on anybody else, and I don't think that needs to be the normal thinking. I'd like to see everybody succeed, and I'd like to see everybody happy. But if me doing performing a particular action means I could get 2 epic chest pulls as opposed to 1, well, of course I'm gonna want to get the most bang for my buck. You know what I'm saying? And especially that you've got people. You got people like me that used to spend heavy, and then we got to a certain point and we don't really spend anymore. So now we definitely need those resources. Just like you have people that never spend at all, and now all of a sudden they're spending a bunch of money. So, it's super individualized. But yeah, I agree with Key. I mean, help people where you can, but at the end of the day, you still should be able to weigh, is there something that I can still benefit from it? Especially at that level where everything's so damn expensive.
Yeah. Totally agree.
So, I mean, when I go to these big deep space armadas and I get booted out of them by 10, 15 million ships and my little 6.5 mil jelly gets booted out, I don't get mad. As a matter of fact, I expect it. I'm more surprised that I actually make it into the armada if I make it. It's just, there's the pecking order, and I've said it before, and that's just the way of things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do enjoy helping smaller players out. Like I really do. Like I like
Yeah, but
helping
does
pulling
it
people up,
cost
but it's
you
just
anything?
right. No, but but I still do need to be able to play with people at my own ops level because the game demands it. Just like Keys was saying, everything gets so expensive. Like I'm a much lower ops level than you guys, but I can understand where you're coming from. Because the game absolutely demands that you need more to do basically the same kind of progression.
I have a question I want to pose to y'all. Okay. In an alliance that I was recently a member of, it is expected that, let's say you're grinding in Soul or Chronos, and there's heavies and there's regulars there. It's expected that as a level 50, you are not to kill a regular miner. You're only to kill a heavy miner and leave all the regulars for your teammates.
Now,
Is this the correct assumption?
no, but it is extremely common practice. It is so common, in fact, that literally every single 50, that's just what they do. And
This 50 don't.
I understand that. I do. But
How many ships you
now,
grind with?
do you believe
I use 3.
sometimes 3, but not typically. It depends on where I'm grinding, but look at it this way. For instance, in the capital systems, when you're grinding, typically the standard surveys do not spawn unless you kill a heavy, because everybody's already blown them up and they're not spawning anymore.
Correct.
And it's only heavies. So the heavies have to be blown up in order for regular ones to spawn again.
Correct.
Now, just because you killed those heavies doesn't mean you own the regular ones.
Correct.
Now, hear me here, because I agree with you. I have felt the exact same way as you many, many times. And I have gone there before, and I have used my Newton to kill the heavies and my Kelvin to kill the regulars with PMC. And I've done that before. And I stopped doing it because it got to be too much of a hassle and too much competition for the regular ones. And I ended up flying halfway across the system to go try and hit one just to have somebody show up there before me because they were much closer. But of course, I don't PM them. I don't tell them anything. I just go about my day because it's not worth it. You know.
All right.
Now, because I know I don't own the whole system. Like, you have to let other people grind. I mean, for a lot of the server, that's the only place they can go to do their dailies. It's literally the only system. There's only one
Correct.
that they can even do their dailies in.
Agree with you there totally. But let's say this. When I go to one of those systems, capital systems, what I do is I either go in a counterclockwise or a clockwise position with 3 ships. I don't deviate. I go in the same pattern. If a regular pops in front of me, I kill it. I have 1 ship that's designated because I grind with 3. One that is designated. About the only thing you can pretty much kill is a regular. The other 2 can kill regulars and heavies. And I just keep going in a circle. Now, the one thing that would get on my nerves is when I would have somebody shooting over in front of me and killing the regular that was popping right in front of my face. When I know good and well on the other side of the system, there was probably some there. And when I would ask said player, hey, look, can you please maybe hit the ones on the other side or jump in behind me? I'm sure I'll be cleaning a nice path out as I'm going here. There'll be plenty popping for you. I just want every now and then 1 or 2 when they pop up in front of me. It's 1 ship I want to hit a regular with. Just please don't come here and snipe it in front of me. Now, that's happened, to me personally.
I know.
One of the reasons I'm not with said alliance anymore.
And I think where a lot of it comes into play is that people are so used to in NONA that the bigs go in there and kill only heavies. They're just super used to it. So they probably didn't even think twice.
Well, I was told by smaller players.
So you PM.
I was told by a smaller player that it was expected of me not to kill the regular miner.
I don't think it was quite phrased like that, but I don't remember.
I do know because I had the PM.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Exactly how it was phrased.
Screenshots.
That's how it was. I got the screenshots. That's how it was phrased to me.
That's not right. It's just not. It's not expected. I mean,
but
Is it
that's what was
normal?
told
Is it
to me.
normal? Sure. But is it expected? Like, I mean, I guess it's semantics, right? Like, I'm sure he didn't mean it like that. It's just that's what people do expect because that's what all of our players do, right?
And go figure. And yet from that, I was asked to leave an alliance. I'm not calling the name of the alliance, just saying. But
We all know.
just for
We
that,
all know.
just for that, I'll be damned.
It wasn't just that, but
No. Yeah, it was other
Uh-oh.
people. I'm not going to say anybody else. And it's just him. Something in the background. No problem there either. But, even though I don't even know him. But all right.
but yeah, I
I
agree. If it's not right how some lower players treat higher level players. They do not realize sometimes the stress and the expectations that comes with being a larger player in an alliance with smaller players, because what ends up happening is the smaller players have to lean heavily on those larger players. For example, we have a different level 50 player, not Key, that feels completely obligated to show up to every single armada that is run, because actually there's more than one level 50 in our alliance that does this.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And they feel obligated to the point where they end up getting kind of stressed out and upset about it because they're literally sacrificing for the alliance their normal play and their day, whereas they could be focusing a little more on work or something, but these armadas keep popping off and they don't want to let the team down, so they try and show up to every single one.
That's exactly what you're talking about, and they do every time.
And I try and tell these players, look, like, don't feel like you have to. If you're busy, but they can't help themselves. They literally can't help themselves. Like, they're like, I know that, but I just can't help myself. I have to show up. So, but it's a hard, happy medium. Like, where's the middle ground there? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know where the middle ground is. I mean,
the right answer is to not have is to stop drawing expectations because you're dealing with a human element. So unless something is a rule or it's written in stone, if you're expecting some form of behavior, the one thing when I supervise people, the one thing that would chap my ass and a surefire way to make sure you don't get your way is to say, well, generally we do it like, I'm like, okay, where's that written? Where is it in black and white that happens all the time? Oh, well, it's not, but it's just usual. Okay, well, there's your first problem is you made an assumption. You can't spell assumption without the word ass, but you made a complete ass of yourself. You don't assume things, and that's the problem. That's one of the reasons we have so many problems is because people say, well, this is normally how it goes. Okay, well, is it written down? Well, no, it's not written down anywhere. Okay, well, then when you go and you expect that to happen and it doesn't happen, you're assuming that risk. You're assuming the risk that it might not happen the way that you're expecting it to because it's not written down anywhere. It's not set in stone.
Correct. And just to help keep things simple, I mean, yeah, sure, we could make it like California law and write everything down, even though it doesn't make sense, and then write more laws that contradict each other. But, like, just to keep things simple, you can't make a rule about everything.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess you can, but holy shit.
But the thing is that here's the thing. It's called personal responsibility, and that's something that we, even as a society, have gotten away from. I expected it to be this way. Why isn't it that way? Okay, well, is that a rule? No. Okay, well, fuck you then. It's not written down. It didn't go down the way that you thought it was going to go. Get on about your life. Sometimes things happen like that, and that's the problem that people have, is you expect something. We were discussing this the other day. We were talking about the entitlement thing,
Well, Karen's got to have their say,
Well, that's the thing. There's this entitlement thing. And, unfortunately, out of all of the games, I've said it before, I'll say it again, out of all the games I've played in the communities I've been a part of, STFC players, we, as a whole, are the whiniest fucking gamers that exist that I've ever seen in my life. I don't care. People can try to argue it till you die. I don't care. I've done Call of Duty. I've done Halo. I've done Fallout Communities, Elder Scrolls. I've done all these other big names. And as far as whining is concerned, this is the whiniest I've ever seen people in a collective. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, it's a problem that we have. If you go out and you expect something to happen and it doesn't happen, oh well. When I run a really good armada, like I ran a really nice 44 rare the other day in the middle of the day, and a bunch of people were online talking, and 2 people showed up and we lost it, I didn't whine about it. I expected people to show up because people normally do, but they didn't, and I lost it. Guess what? That was my fault for making that assumption. Oh well.
Yeah.
But there are too many people that will cry and complain, and I'm gonna leave, and all this other stuff. I mean, for fuck's sake, we've got grown ass men leaving alliances because they're not happy that somebody else joined the alliance.
I know. That's ridiculous.
Okay. And here's the thing, I'm not here to call anybody out. You know what I mean?
No,
I don't care because it's not. It's not.
You end up placating to this stuff.
But here's the deal.
Which
Listen
sucks.
Hold on.
But you try and keep everybody happy.
It's not
and
exclusive. It's not exclusive to one alliance or the other. You see it across the board. I've been in a couple of alliances where that's happened. Well, I don't like this person, so I'm just going to leave, and you're going to have to kick them out before I come back. What are we? Are we playing a game of war, and we're like 5 years old on the freaking monkey bars, and I'm not happy because Jimmy's up there with Sally, and I'm upset, so I'm going to go pout and kick sand in the corner?
Well,
that's exactly what's going on.
He cheated, and I didn't win, so,
Yeah, whatever. It's just that.
So, goddamn it, listen to me complain for a few hours.
I mean, here's the thing. Lord knows we're gonna want to get some steam off. Man, this new drop sucks. I had so much more expectations. Blah 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 blah. But when it starts going deeper, and you disagree with someone, you don't like somebody in alliance, so you leave a whole alliance in a mobile game, and I'm not coming back until these people leave, or I'm threatening to leave if you're going to invite them, and all this type of thing. I mean, you're grown as shit. How did you make it this far in life? You know what I mean? With that type of mentality. Do you do that in real life?
Well, that's pretty far and few between. Most people check themselves before they get to that point.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. It exists.
It does.
In fact, the fact that when I bring it up, everybody knows what I'm talking about just goes to show that it happens far too often than what it needs to be happening in the first place.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, it is just a game, and if people want to act like that, I'm not going to give it a second thought, because whatever. You do you. I don't care.
Well,
you say that. Let me jump in there. You say that, but then again, when they act that way,
if enough people act that way, then yes, I will alter.
You ask the person to leave an alliance, and don't give them any chance to defend themselves when they have done nothing wrong. But all they did was stand and support and help everything that your alliance ever did. But yet, you're still asked to leave because 1 or 2 people in the background are complaining and whining. And you don't even know these people. I don't even know these people. But yet, you're asked to leave. That's bullshit.
I don't know anything about those, but I will. I can't comment one way or the other, but I would say that I've seen.
Got a point.
No, Key definitely has a point. And here's the thing: I have seen, and again, it's not like an attack on Nona or Dark or Mos or any of the other alliances.
It happens everywhere.
It happens everywhere. And the thing is that what happened, and I'll give a perfect example. I was unhappy that. I was unhappy with the way that Dark was going. I wasn't angry at anybody in particular. I still love all the guys and gals over there. I don't have any issues with them. Just the culture that was going on was not something that I liked. So guess what I did? I decided I'm going to go ahead and leave. I'm going to go do this other thing. You know what I'm saying? And I did. And I didn't make a big deal about it. I didn't cry. I didn't whine. I said my piece. I said I disagree with a few things. A few people came and asked me about it. I told them about it. No big deal. I don't mind. But that seems to be, unfortunately, something that doesn't happen as often as it should. It's always kind of it's always, something else. There's always something going on. And people can't check that stuff. And we say that, that's the way it needs to happen, and of course it is. It's ideal, but it doesn't happen. The things that I've seen, and it happens in every alliance, some of the cringy stuff that I see, some of the weird stuff that I see. I mean, Jesus Christ, we got people in Nona that act like a 12-year-old boy that just saw his first boobs when a girl comes into the AC. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And those people that are involved, if you're offended by this, I mean, you got to stop, man. It's just cringy. I've talked to some of the other guys, and we all agree it's really weird. You got to stop. But you see strange things like that, and we're all adults. We really are. I've run into one child playing this game, and I've been playing this game for 3 years. I've run into one person that was, yeah, I'm 17. Like, that's it. So we're all adults here.
For the most part, yes.
And, well, yeah, in age, right? But, it's just the thing is that as more people leave, everybody keeps talking about a server merger. Here's the deal, people. We have far too many people in this server for there to be a server merger. There's way too many.
Right now, yes.
There's no way.
Right now, yeah. There's no way it's happening anytime soon. I'm going to tell you that right now. Unless 300 people leave tomorrow, it's not happening. But as we progress and people start to leave, before we get to that point where there's a server merger, if we get one, the people that you're not being very happy with are the people that are obviously playing the game the most, because you're having a lot of interactions with them. Those interactions are only going to become ever increasing as other people leave, because it's going to thin the herd. So the potential for you to have interaction with these people is going to increase and increase and increase. So you can either get over it and learn to accept that fact that these people might end up on your team, or you can continue to act like a freaking idiot. I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
No, preach it, son. That's right.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, some of these people that you're like, I can't stand that person because they blew up my ship 6 months ago or something. Well, guess what, son bitch? That person might be in your alliance in 2 months. You're gonna have to get over it.
Exactly right.
And
at the end of the day, man, we're all people. We're just human, and there ain't nothing anybody does in this game, aside from maybe threatening your life and that of your family. It can't be forgiven. Give me a break. It's just a freaking game. Just get over your shit.
And here's the thing, buddy. There are people in this game. There are people right now in Nona. There's at least one of them where I've had really nasty run-ins with this person in the past. You know what I do? I just keep playing the fucking game. We're on the same team.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. It's just words.
It doesn't matter. And this person has said some pretty off-color things to me in PMs.
Let me interject here real quickly. And you're talking about people getting off color and getting mad and stuff. What I think really goes on, what you got to understand, I'm going back and looking on like the earlier times that I played this game, when I was level 33 or whatever, and I'm starting to invest money and stuff. When you start to invest money, it becomes real to you. Yeah, and then when somebody does something like that, it pisses you off like you can't fucking believe, because damn it, I just dropped $100 fucking bucks. I could took my family out to eat for dinner for that shit. So it gets very real to a lot of people really quick, especially in the early levels of this game. It gets even worse, as y'all know, when we get into the higher levels, as to how exponentially expensive this something can get. So money is the deciding factor, I do believe, that will cause anybody to go postal, yes or no, in this game. Free-to-play players do what they want, but even eventually, I think all free-to-play players eventually spend a little money. They can lie and say they don't. I don't fucking believe it.
I mean, there are some true 100% free-to-play players, but they get emotionally invested for different reasons, because for something that you buy for them to get it, it takes them 10 times longer to get it than it does for you, because you can buy it.
Yep.
So they become more emotionally invested because they're playing it for longer.
Yeah, instead of just logging in for an hour or two a day, they may be spending 6 hours a day on it.
There are us that play this game that have discretionary funds. And so it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal to drop $1,000 in a night. But to another player who doesn't have those funds, it's a huge ass deal to drop that kind of money, I mean, so it's all about your level and how you factor things in. Like now you're talking about your free-to-play players. Hell, they've got a shit ton of time involved in it. And I'd be pissed off too if I just spent a bunch of time on something and then all of a sudden it gets taken away from me. It's just
like if you get one epic pull, like, and it takes weeks for you to get those shards together, or whatever they're called, directives.
And somebody
Like,
comes and
and
blows
then
it up, or
yeah,
doesn't show up to help you.
Yeah,
or
Mhm.
some
that's when I was talking
Yeah.
about
griefer comes along and
that
blows
rare.
up. Yeah,
Yeah, that's just you.
I can
I mean,
understand why people get
takes
pissed. I get it.
it takes me like 2 weeks to build up one rare, and then 3 to 4 weeks to build up one epic. So once like that rare that I lost the other day, that was almost a month of me saving up rare tokens, to get it, to be able to run it, and I lost it. Well, guess what? That's a month of my grinding toward that particular thing. I just lost it. I lost all that time. So yeah, but how did I handle it? Like a grown ass man. And I realized that these things happen, and I expected something to happen, and that was my mistake.
Right.
yeah.
Which is
And
the same thing that people do when they spin. It's just sometimes it don't happen.
And I think one thing that people fail to realize, and it's easy for me, given what I did for a living for so long, speaking to people was literally part of my job. That was literally me. I ran a whole team, and our whole job was to speak to people and to, convince them to do the right thing. So that's what I did. So a lot of people don't have the skills to be able to speak to people from different walks of life, different regions, different, everything. I can go strike up a conversation with, a dude that's down on his luck, that's living outdoors on the street. And then 5 minutes later, I can go chat up some dude driving an Aston Martin at a Starbucks, and both of them I could have them both walking away thinking I'm good news. Because it's the way that you talk to people, and you understand how people talk based on where they're from and what they've dealt with. I'm not going to walk up to some snobby, white collar and be like, "What up, bruh? What's going on, man?" No, you're probably not going to talk to that guy like that. "Hey, sir, how's it going on? Hey, sir, how's it going today?" You got to pull out that Caucasoid voice.
In your best white boy voice, yeah.
That is exactly right. And then I might go down. I might, be on a road trip and hit a country store on some back roads exit, and I go up to the counter and, "Hey, darling, how's it going?" And
Hey,
that
y'all.
type of thing. "Hey, y'all, what's going on?" That type of thing. You got to understand that a lot of people don't have the ability to understand how to connect with people. So, depending upon it's up to you to send the correct message. You know what I mean? It's the message sender. So if I'm sending the incorrect message, whether I meant to or not, that's my fault. My job as the person just trying to communicate a thought to you is to make sure that you understand the thought as it's intended. Not for me to say something and go, "Well, it's your fault if you don't get it." No, it's kind of your fault if you're not understanding it, if you're not, explaining it the correct way or speaking to somebody the way they need to be spoken to.
Which leads me to a point that when you're dealing with people in your alliance, like sometimes you have to approach something differently, right? So, for example, since we were talking about it, some people, you just wouldn't want to come at them like, "Hey, man, like, why don't you stay out of my way? Like, I don't understand why you being a dick and cutting in front of me." Some people, you can't say that like that to them. You'd have to say something like, "Hey, buddy, like, I appreciate your grinding and stuff, but would you mind, I don't know." But I'm just, as an example, you understand where I'm coming from. You might need to approach it differently depending on the person you're talking to. That's all.
Yeah, and text is difficult to get your point across sometimes.
I know, I hate it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God,
It's
yeah.
so difficult. Well, I
They
think I
read
even gave
something
you that
completely
advice.
different.
I
Yeah,
even
they
gave you
read
that
something
advice.
that's different. Yeah.
And
Yes.
you just gotta sometimes jump in a voice chat.
I want to state one thing here real quick, if y'all give me a second. Does anybody know what a borrowed offense is? Feel free to chime in.
A borrowed offense?
Yes.
Do tell.
Okay.
I'm sure you're going to tell us.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to tell you. My pastor did a whole sermon on this, a whole sermon series on this, actually. It was really cool. A borrowed offense is basically, let's say you and another person are friends. Okay? And a third person does something to piss your friend off. Well, he pissed your friend off. So guess what? Now you're pissed off at that third person. Okay. Now, 2 weeks down the road, your friend and this person are fine. They're getting along just fine. But you're still pissed off at that person because he pissed your friend off. That is what a borrowed offense is, okay? And that happens way too much in this game.
That is
Okay?
true. You hit the nail on the head.
Happens way too much in this game. Just, I would just, a certain player, got mad at me because of another player. Well, gosh, I've never even had an interaction with you. Why the hell are you mad at me? You see what I'm saying?
I think
That's
somebody. I absolutely think that somebody else that can appreciate that, and he's listening right now. He's down there in the audience. You can come up if you want. I know you're not too keen on it, but is TM. TM had to deal with that, and so I've had to deal with it.
We all have
somebody in the game, and then you get some guy that comes and hits your minor or something, and then he's like, "Yeah, fuck you," and I'm like, I feel like Thanos. Like, I don't even know who you are. Like, who the hell are you, Mr. Level 29? I don't even know who you are, man. Like, what the heck happened? And then come to find out, your curiosity gets the better of you, and you start asking around. They're like, "Oh, well, a year and a half ago, you raided my friend's base or something," and you're like, "What? Are you 12?
I don't even remember doing that.
I don't even remember your friend's name. Do I just live in your head rent free, or what's the deal here?"
I have conversations with people today about joining an alliance. They're like, "Well, you did this back in the future." I'm like, I don't even fucking remember none of that shit. Maybe I did. Maybe I was drunk one night. I don't fucking know. People got memories like elephants.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you make some of these folks mad, man. They'll remember that shit later on. Be the end of the world. Damn last escape pod leaving. You go to get on, and somebody's like, "No, you can't get on." There was one time we were at the grocery store, and you took the last Cookie Crunch box, and I wanted it, and and people are like that, man. But anyway,
here's the thing, though. When you have issues with a person, fucking squash it. Don't just let that shit fester. Don't just throw your hands up and go, "Well, they're pissed. Oh well." Squash that shit. Talk it out.
Anybody?
If you can. Sometimes you can't, but if you can, try and squash it.
Handy, let me jump in here because this is it. I know I'm a preachy guy. I talk the Bible a lot, but let me tell you something. The Bible tells you very plainly, and it's got so much great wisdom in it, to be a peacemaker, not a peacekeeper. And what that means is, it's the old saying is, handle a little problem at first so it don't turn into a big problem. So in other words, if somebody does something, tick you off, whatever, confront them about it immediately. Don't let it fester in the background and talk to your buddies and shit on the side, because guess what? All of a sudden it becomes a big problem. So if you be a peacemaker up front, you don't have to be a peacekeeper later, and that should really help you in your job, Handy. Is what you do it. No.
I agree, and I do that on a regular basis.
The thing you have to ask yourself whenever you have a conference, when you have stuff that goes on, and here's the deal: what I did for a living and the things that I've seen and done. It's scarred me. It's for life. I'm not gonna get all hot and heavy about it because nobody gives a shit. I don't even give a shit. But that's beside the point. The point is that sometimes what you have to do is you have to look at a situation and you have to say, is it worth my peace? Because sometimes things are going to happen to you and there's not going to be anything you can do about it. Sometimes you may park your truck like me. I parked my truck all the way at the end of a damn parking lot one time. My truck didn't even have 5,000 miles on it, and some freaking fat Karen that didn't want to put her shopping cart away just left the cart in the parking lot. Wind blew along, and now there's a dent in the bed of my truck. It's not even a very big one, but I know it's there. And guess what? There's nothing I can do about it. Nobody saw anything. There's no security cameras. I just got a dent in my truck. And guess what? What is it worth? Am I going to get mad about it and things like that? Let's take, for example, let's say there's something that you can do about it. Is it worth your peace to keep going? And if the answer to that question is no, drop it right there. Don't talk about it again. Leave it alone. Let it die.
Yep.
Let it go.
Yeah,
and that's what people need to do. I mean, there was somebody the other day, even in the game. We'll take it away from real life. We'll go to the game. Somebody the other day hit my discovery for no reason. And then I went and I looked, and it was somebody that was trying to be funny in a PM, God knows how long, because I went to shoot him a PM and go, dude, what the hell, you know? And then I saw that it was somebody who got cheeky with me, so I trolled them back, and then they blocked me. Well, I live in their head rent free, so they just hit my ship. So now what could I do? They're from some super weak nothing alliance. I mean, it's a bunch of nobodies. And what am I going to do? I could go through and wreck every single one of them single-handedly, or just forget it. Shit happens. You know, and this is the way that people need to approach it. You got to approach it like that. You got to approach it like that. You can't just, you have to, when something happens, like Key said, you're going to confront them and say, hey, what the hell? What's going on? What can we do to solve this? Or if you don't think it's worth it, you drop it right there. Leave it alone. Never talk about it again. Don't go let it fester. Don't discuss it with your friends, like Key was saying. Don't go, because then your friends are going to get you riled up. Oh, man, I wouldn't take that shit off nobody. Because your friends love getting you riled up. They love getting you mad. Don't let them tell you any different. That's just what's going to happen. So, but anyway, yeah, absolutely. I agree with all that. Anybody in the audience have anything they want to come up here and call me an asshole or anything anybody wants to share?
Please do jump in.
Come on up here. We got all kind of folks down there. What's going on? Any goings on? Anything you want to share? Anything we want to discuss? We've been talking about a bunch of negative shit. That's kind of
why even change the subject. If somebody's got something else they want to talk about, you can always type it in the chat too. If you don't want to come up and talk.
Yeah, you can type it in the chat, and we'll bring it up, and then we'll just take it and run with it like we always do.
I do have a real quick off-topic subject. If nobody wants to jump up, somebody in the audience. I really wish one person would, but if they don't, that's fine. But I would really like to talk about the future of the server, or the future of the game.
Yeah, that's a good topic.
I mean,
what keeps people playing the game?
Well,
they keep coming out with shit arcs.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. I mean, where do we go from here? I mean, am I? And I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna give classified information away right now tonight. My strategy, my game strategy. Okay, my game strategy is not to build a single G4 epic ship. Do I have the BPs to do it? Can I do it? Yes. Do I see a need to do it? No. Am I building the G4 mid-level ships all day long? Because guess what? If you're grinding and you're trying to go to champion, those are the ships you need to do it because they give you the extra bonus for it. I've got one more to go, and I'm really close. Yeah, but I'm saying if you want your smart money is spent on building those mid levels. So I can take a mid-level Coronor and beat a low-level Tribune all day long. Now I'm thinking people are wasting a lot of money there, but that's just my opinion. I'd like to hear some feedback on that.
The problem is that the question that you're asking only pertains to like the top 3%, 4%.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, I do. But guess what?
It pertains to a lot more than that. It pertains to a lot more people
30,
than that.
I wanted to know that shit because guess what? It was all conjecture at that point because I didn't know these things. It would be great for them to know that now. You see what I'm saying? Coming into that level.
The problem I think that you're facing though is that Key, you and most of the other people have always been spenders, but you got somebody like me, level 50 is something, if this game is even still alive, I might see it in 5 years.
Yeah, true.
Nah,
you see what I'm saying?
Sooner than that. As soon as they release the next levels, they're going to make it easier to get through the 50s, just like they did with the 30s.
We can split hairs. We can split hairs all day long and talk about time, but we can all agree that it's going to be a fucking hell of a long time, regardless of what they release. If they gave me a pack tomorrow with 100 billion par steel, still wouldn't put a dent in it, right? So that's here neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is that what you have now, just like anything, the fastest people are only going to get further away from people in the middle and then the people in the back. So when you start, the fastest people may be a few steps ahead of you. The slow people are only a few steps behind you. Fast forward 30 minutes, the fastest people have lapped the middle level people 3 times. The lower level people have been lapped 6 times. And so just like the rich get richer and the poor stay poor, that's one of those things.
That is true.
your percentage, that gap increases exponentially because the percentage at which you're growing is that much faster. So what you have now is you have 3 classes. Essentially, you can break them up into people. You have the high level people that are, let's just say the high level people right now are anywhere between 46 and 50.
Yep.
Right? Those are your bigger spenders. They're definitely throwing money down on the game, blah, 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 blah. Then you have your mid-range players that are going to be somewhere between 40 to 41 up to 46. Right? And those are going to be the people that they're the sometimers. They have spent money, or they do spend a little bit of money here and there to offset what they need. Maybe they get a little bit of a bonus at work, $1,000, and they might drop $400 or $500 a night, whatever. And then you have your lower level people, nothing, and I don't mean anything derogatory, but lower level people, maybe they either don't spend any money, they don't spend a lot of time in the game, or they're newer people, or whatever the case may be. But so now you have this huge disparity that is, it's crazy. The difference between top 50 players and the top 100 to 50 players. You see what I'm saying? 1 through 50 and then 51 through 100. The power difference between just those 2 groups is insane. It's insane.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
The issue that you face as far as longevity is concerned, and this is what it seems like Scopely's trying to do, they're trying to split the difference. If you'll recall, pretty much every arc that they were coming out with, it was always geared toward a lower level player. The missions, you'd be level 45 and you go on a mission and it was like, woohoo, here's 12 Latinum. Like, what am I going to do with that? And so now what you're seeing is you are seeing Scopely trying to at least split the difference, where they're trying to go, okay, here's something for you big players, but also it'll fall somewhere in the middle where more people can sort of play it. So, that's, as much as, and I've said it, I know I said it earlier, as much as we're a bunch of whiny bastards, it does seem like Scopely is trying to find some way to bridge that gap. Because if you just appeal to the high-level players, low-level players are going to leave. If you just appeal to the low-level players, the high-level players are going to get bored. And they're not going to spend their money and everything. You see what I'm saying? So they're trying their best. I think the best thing for us to do, and I see this, and it goes against individualism, right? We were talking earlier about all the big players need big players to go further. That's one of the reasons why I stay in the bigger alliances, because I do need that help, especially where I'm at now, and the fact that I'm not spending a lot of money. Also, I see Donald Trump down there in the audience. You can kiss my ass. I am all smart and shit. So,
Trump, I love your name. Sorry.
You have this disparity, right? But as much as all the bigs being together under one roof, helping each other, as much as that is beneficial for you all, it is detrimental for the rest of the server. And so what happens is that may be good on a personal level in that top 5-10%, but the bottom 90%, it is detrimental to. It is not good.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to squeak
for
by.
Server health.
Exactly. So it's one of those things where I think if it's all down to the individual, and I don't think anybody should be pressured one way or another, but if you're interested in server health, like we were talking about earlier, you may want to amend the way that you're playing to try to include more people, to try to foster people staying here. We just saw Nash leave. That's a big level player.
I'm sorry. I just left the server. Left in general, right? You're saying, right?
Yeah. I mean, he left. He left the game.
Right. Okay.
So
okay.
I
thought you meant left to another server. I'm like, how the hell you do that?
No. No. He left the game, and this is one of the people that everybody was talking about. Oh, high level people aren't going to leave because they've already invested a bunch of money. Well, guess what? Nash did. So that just goes to show that you never say never. And so how do we foster server health? We've seen, even on our podcast, we've interviewed people from servers that have 60 active people, 60, 70 active people. You know, does that sound great? Dude, you can mine all you want. You can mine all the resources in the world, but that shit's going to get boring very quickly when you ain't got nothing to do. So
it does.
And people are like, oh, well, then you'd be able to make bigger leaderboards. No, Scopely tailors it to active players. So like a jellyfish event in some servers, the first place person gets the blueprints, and that's it. Whereas in our server, five people could also get blueprints in the jellyfish thing. But things like that, and I think that would be good for us to look forward to, and that's going to be on an individual basis. That's not something we're going to be able to make up a policy, or we're not going to be able to do anything like that. It's just something we're going to have to think about on an individual level. What's more important to us, our progression or keeping the server healthy?
Hey, Joker, how you doing, buddy? I saw you jumping up and down there.
Yeah. I got a question. Is NONA giving us stimulus packages?
Yeah. Just wait by the mailbox. I promise it's coming.
Oh, no. How you doing, guys?
We're good, man. How you doing?
All right. Just relaxing.
Cool.
You guys make a good point. You make a good point, especially with the people that remember you from like a year ago, and then they just hit you out of nowhere and they say, "You remember a year ago when you used to do this to me?" I'm like, okay, well, I want to get you back finally. You gotta be like, okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I happen to know that
Congratulations.
the Joker there, he has had quite a few people that come after him. Yeah.
But ask him how he overcame that by not responding in kind, and now a lot of people like Joker.
Yeah.
It's respect.
Fine with
It really is
a few
respect.
people that won't let go, but that's is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I was hot headed with somebody for a while, but you gotta let it go, because really the anger, it stresses you out. It gets you sick. You gotta just let it go.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you something. Hey, anger is the only poison that hurts the container that it's in.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Man, I totally agree with that.
Thanks,
Anger
Joker.
against a single player for whatever reason.
I'm gonna move you back down to
That's
the
a straight up
audience for a
poison.
minute. Hey, CapnMal, you wanted to come up and say something?
What's
How you
up,
doing,
fellas? How are y'all tonight?
Good. How are you doing, man?
Hello.
Oh, not too bad. Just watching the sprinklers on the golf course.
Oh,
Sounds
that's
riveting.
nice.
It's not the best golf course, guys. I'm not in NONA. I'm not a 50. I'm not one of those 46 and up guys, right? So,
Oh man.
I know.
What are you trying
I
to say?
know.
We all live on a golf course?
No, man. I just wanted to clarify. It's a municipal. What can I do?
I
So-
own a golf course.
I fucking hate golf.
Me too.
I own a golf
Man.
course. Kiss my ass.
How the hell am I supposed to ever afford to play golf when I play this fucking game? So,
All right, so here you go.
So I had a thought when StrangeKirk mentioned earlier, it's a personal choice, right? And you got to balance with what Key was talking about with his own development, and he needs to be surrounded by players of a like level in order for them to foster his growth. And right now, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of growth for a 50 to do. There's
no.
Is
Very
there?
stagnant. No, it's very stagnant.
Yeah. So I had a thought the other day, and it was just kind of a pipe dream. I might have been drinking. I might have had a couple of gummies. I don't know. But I was like, if we are talking about server health, and there's a lot of talk about that, like that's the reason why we want everybody to have access to TC without any competition to get there. But if we are truly talking about server health, then how in the world is stacking a couple of alliances with all the power on the server helping the server?
No, you're right. That's exactly
Well, it
that was
doesn't.
the point that I was making earlier.
It doesn't serve as a whole.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It will help you as the individual, and of course,
Right.
you're the one who spent all the money, so it's your choice. But if caring about having a healthy server and longevity of play, because here's the thing, people, just like any business, once something becomes unprofitable, it gets dropped, and we've seen games get shut down both on consoles, PCs. We've seen them shut down when they stop being profitable. Now, so that's the big question, and that's not, and of course that's not something we can ponder it, but that's not something we can answer for everybody, because every person has to ask that question. And you make a good point. That's what I was talking about. It goes along with what I'm saying. If you do that, the rest of us, and I'm lumping myself in with it, and I by no means think that I'm a high level. A couple days away from making the jump to 42 at the server is now. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm a little middle fish. Okay, the rest of us from the middle on down are going to suffer. Now, yeah, those of us that are somewhere in the middle, mid to low 40s, we can start to band together, and we'll be able to hit these, these smaller deep space armadas and get some of these things and start. We'll be able to get, third, fourth, fifth place in some of these alliance events and get some of the stuff. So we still be able to get some of the scraps that are laying around.
But armadas aren't the only thing. I mean,
they're not the only thing, but here's the deal.
They go a long way towards mid-level growth, though. A long way. They
really do, especially when you start talking about, hitting the... Can you hit bigger exchange armadas? Can you hit bigger, when people are doing, swarm armadas or whatever to get their dailies done? But you start talking about these other things, especially when it comes into play when you're talking about, let's say, for example, you got a leaderboard, an armada leaderboard. We could run all the armadas we want, but guess what? They're going to run out because the only people that can get to those big armadas are you all. Yep. We can't even make it there to run it. So nobody's going to be able to run it but you. And if all of you are in the same group, guess what? No matter which one of you big fuckers runs it, everybody's going to be reaping the alliance reward benefits. So that's the point I'm making. So what is, and you also have to look at it on a sliding scale. What's important to you is not the same thing that's important to me. Handy's over here trying to talk to me one day about how I need to have all these meridians and I need to get the refit and all this shit and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, that's easy to say when you're not a free-to-play guy. I can't afford that. I literally have to focus on one thing at a time. Like, for example, in the event store, I haven't spent a thing. I got to wait to see how many of those credits I can get and then see what I can get. And for somebody in my position, it's entirely possible that I might spend half of my tokens on par steal, as simple as it may sound. Yep. For you guys, it's funny because it's like, what? That's just like, I got billions of that laying around. I don't.
So, yeah, but even if you don't, it would be advantageous for you to spend it for anybody. I don't care what level you are. It would be advantageous to spend your tokens for the event on something that you cannot get otherwise.
Agree.
Like officer shards.
Officers, for sure.
Of course. Yeah. Here's the thing. Again, you're not in that position. What that person needs, you can't relate
that's short-sighted.
to it.
That's short-sighted. Not Driift right here. He's lower level than you, and I'm sure he's going to spend his on officer shards. Even though he may need parsnip, he may need dilithium, but he can get that elsewhere by waiting a little longer.
I need uncommon ore really bad, but I'm still going to spend it on officer shards.
But here's the point. The point that I'm making is that you it's easy to say that, but you don't understand my strategy. Maybe I have a plan. Maybe I have a timetable. Maybe I have something going on. Same thing with everybody. You know what I mean? So everybody's strategy is going to be different. And that is one of the beautiful and ugly things about this game, is that everybody has a different strategy. Some people stayed at level 36 or 37 and maxed out all their epic ships. And that's great. But what happened was all the other people shot past them, and then because they're higher level, they get more rewards. So now they're at the point where they're maxing out epic ships, and these other people don't even have a damn jellyfish yet.
It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that. I had that exact same conversation with a couple of now higher level than me guys, and I've been always kind of in that from anywhere from number 60 to number 80 on the server. I live in that little world with a bunch of guys and a couple gals, and what I advised these members to do was to level, because they were intent on leveling everything up to, like you said, level 36. Even their, tritanium factories that they never use. Leveling everything up to 36. So it was a nice clean 36 all the way across the board. Then, okay, let's save and let's go hit 37.
Yeah.
Ops 37. Well, what I explained to them, because this individual that I'm not going to name any names, he's an excellent player, one of the best on the server in my estimation. The dude, and if you don't respect this guy, you haven't been playing with him. Because
here's the thing, I'm recruiting.
Do what?
No.
Well, you're not going to be able to recruit him away. I'll tell you that. He's one of my boys. But anyhow, he started doing that. And because I told him, I was like, listen, what you don't understand is your ops level determines what your rewards are.
Correct.
And the higher ops level you can get, within reason, but the higher ops level you can get to, the more rewards you get from, Armada terms, everything, pretty much anything across the board. And that is going to help you so that now when you're at level 44, 45, 46, then you look back and say, oh, well, 1 billion par steel is nothing. Because I get that from my dailies.
Right. Yeah.
I get 3 times that from my dailies. So that billion par steel to go back and catch up the rest of my stuff, that's nothing. That's a 1-day deal.
And
so
the cost.
I want to interject real quick.
Yeah, all that efficiency.
I want to interject real quick. The one thing that you can do on ops level that is so cool, what you were just talking about, is that when you actually reach 50, is that all of a sudden you can recycle, an epic level G3 ship,
right,
which you cannot do at level 49, and that is huge going forward.
Well, and that's why my target right now is 46, because I believe that's where I can go and do the blue ships, right? The Intrepid.
Right.
Right. So, and that's my target now, because I want to get to where, and once I figured out, oh my gosh, I had that light bulb moment, because we didn't have any 50 level guys in our circle, but I was one of the top level guys moving up within my own little circle. So we're all learning this together, which was kind of fun. But when we figured out, oh, we can turn a envoy into, better materials by just using a little bit of latinum. It was like a light bulb moment. It's like, oh, well, maybe I can do that with Horizon. Maybe I can do that with this and this and this. And sure enough, we start turning out G3 mats like crazy. And we started doing that just in this little pocket of players. And we started really progressing, and we found out that we didn't have to depend on the refinery to do everything, which was fantastic. But what I think, and this was kind of the purpose of me raising my hand here tonight, guys, I didn't mean to crash the whole party. But my reason for raising my hand was, here's a what if, right? That's the big thing on Disney Plus now, right? Marvel's what if. Somebody mentioned Thanos earlier. All of a sudden, he was a good guy. So what if? What if the server saw it as taboo for 50s to play together on the same alliance?
Ooh.
What if a 50 meant, hey, you went and you joined an alliance that needed your expertise? What if? And because coming up with the guys I came up with, we were all within 3 or 4 levels of each other, and we still are. And then we've always brought in other players underneath and tried to school them, and just like everybody else here has, right? But what if, instead of all the 50s banding together, what if they spread out?
Or we're forced to spread out.
Not forced to. There's no way you can force 50s to do anything, really, honestly.
I'm saying game mechanics can force us from getting out.
Well, sure. I mean, if Scopely wanted to put their ugly red thumb on it, but I think that if we looked at just from a cultural standpoint, if we're really looking at server health and we're really looking at balancing the map, well, what better way to do that than balancing the power?
Yeah.
It's already kind of been done. I mean, the power on our server, for the most part, is pretty evenly spread out.
Within
What?
2 alliances.
I mean, there's like the top 3 alliances have a lot of power, sure, but if you look at the leaderboard in power, it's a steady, even slope going down, which I
it's
think is
not.
pretty healthy. Yeah, it is.
No.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
Go look
it
at
is.
it.
Everybody listen, because I
It's
got it right
pretty
here.
even.
Nona at 2.4, Dark at 2.2, MCRN at 2. All right, we're talking about billion here. Then, now that's 400 million between those 3. Then you drop down 300 million to most. Then from there, you drop down 600 million to bold. Okay, that's a huge power disparity. I don't care which way you want to try to cut that.
Yeah. Most would be better if I still was with them. I'm just saying.
So, goddamn.
Well, it was a little more even until maybe more recently, but there's also been some players moving from some of these other alliances to dark, and that's been skewing it. But it has
about a trend
to band together to get the best stuff.
Yeah.
That's just a fact.
But
Put
here's
their
the
ugly
thing.
red
If
finger
you don't,
on it. They absolutely
look, here's the deal,
did.
though. If you're, I'm gonna tell you right now, we're seeing the trend. That's why we're having the conversation we're having. If this wasn't happening, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So here's the thing. I've already pointed out that there is between 4 and 5. There's a 600 mil power disparity. That's just right now. That's just recent. That's a huge power disparity, man.
And you're right. That is.
But
so
people are
going
every
forward,
day too.
here's the thing. Listen, if going forward, if we continue on this trend, that divide is only going to become greater and greater and greater. And that's what we're seeing. And that's what we're seeing when people start talking about all these other people going to dark. That's what we start talking about, all those different things, because what you're seeing is they're coming from all these other places. A bunch of these other alliances are going to start getting cannibalized for that thing. And it goes with what we're talking about. All the bigs are trying to consolidate because it advances their gameplay. You can't blame them. He makes an excellent point.
It goes against server health. It just does.
But it does go against server health.
Let me interject here. The only thing that anybody in dark or say most are trying to do is possibly doing a merger server or a
merger.
Combination of a merger.
There's no server merge
It's the same thing that Nona did a year ago. Literally, it's nothing different than Nona did a year ago. Hey,
Nona didn't do anything a year ago. We have never actively recruited ever.
Dude, listen.
No, but whether you actively
let me
or
interject
not,
here.
it happened.
I'm not saying this.
No, that's not true.
It was unforeseen. No,
it's
it's
completely
like,
true.
hey,
We've never actively
we're drawing larger people in. Hey, we're no salt. We don't want no bullshit. And yes, we end up being bullshit. No big deal. Nothing against you.
Everybody's bullshit. We're human.
You're drawing them in. You're drawing power to yourself. You can say what you want. You can deny it how much you want to deny it. But that's exactly what was going on. You were drawing power to yourself. And if these two alliances are trying to merger to bring power to themselves, that's nothing more than Nona did a year and a half to 2 years ago when they formed. That's all that's going on. It's the same thing, just recycled.
But the point that I'm making is, and again, I'm not saying that it's wrong, because obviously the people that are involved, it benefits. And at the end of the day, you got to look out for your gameplay. It's your money, it's your time, it's your resources. The only point that we're making is that I think we're all in agreement that no matter where we stand on this, we all agree that it is creating that rift, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, which is creating problems as a whole for the server in which we play.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I don't know there's a way to stop it, because at the end of the day, you can't force.
No,
you can't force anybody to do something they don't want to do.
Listen.
And nor would you want to. Nobody wants to force anybody
to stop.
Let me finish.
That's the point.
I know nobody's trying to force anybody to do anything.
No,
my
but
point.
The reason I brought it up the whole kind of almost tongue-in-cheek, the 50s thing, was because of this. When you say it's for server health, and that becomes the tagline. Oh, for server health, we're going to do X.
Yeah,
Yep.
but hang on,
Well,
real quick.
let-
Let me
let-
interrupt
Let
you.
him finish.
Hang on one sec.
Let
No,
him finish.
hang on one sec.
Let him finish. Go,
When you
Captain.
say it's for server health, you cannot say that
Of
if
course
you're
I
NONA.
can.
You
Of
can't
course I can.
because
Yes, I can.
you can't come off and say that you're philanthropic when you're only philanthropic if it benefits you.
That's saying everything is black and
Exactly.
white, and you know goddamn well the world is gray.
Hey, let's leave GD out of this, man.
Thank you.
Well, look. Here's the
No,
the
but it's
point.
true,
is that
Mal. You know
no
that
one-
everything is gray. There's middle ground everywhere,
You're
and
right.
everything in
But-
between.
But saying that blanket statement for server health, it's kind of a joke inside my circles now.
Well, of course it is, because
Because-
as much as we try, there's not a whole lot you can do. Either the server's healthy or it isn't. But
Excuse me?
we can
is
still
it?
try.
But is it for server health or is it for NONA benefit? What's the difference?
Exactly.
Well. Listen. Let's not. We're not here to just call
it's
it
a
non-NONA
legitimate
here. We can
question.
You can talk about the same way about Dart. You could talk the same way about MCRN and how they absorb people from Cube. You can talk about the point that's made here, and I don't think that this is something that. I mean, you can debate it all you want to, but I don't think anybody's going to be right or wrong, no matter what you say. Is that it's something to ponder for the individual player, whether or not they're more interested in themselves, which I'm not saying that in a derogatory, like you're selfish thing. It's just, am I more worried about my progression or am I more worried about the progression of people around me? And I'm not saying that to start a debate. I didn't say that to start a debate. I said that to put it in people's minds to really think about it, because I went at one point, believe it or not, I was in like the top 50 or 60 power when I went through my spending phase. You know, back when a 2.8 to 3 million auger was like some hard hitting stuff for a lot of people. I actually jumped around to a couple different alliances and ran armadas and did stuff like that. And I actually spent money to do that because it made me feel good. I liked helping people out, people that maybe either didn't have the resources or didn't feel like contributing it, but they're good people and I like them to play and I like them to be around me. I'm investing in people around me. Some of these people, like there's an alliance that no longer exists. They got absorbed into Eli, but it was the Temple Worms. It was a little 7-8 alliance thing. I jumped in there, man. I showed them how to raid. I did all this other stuff. Great folks. I still talk to them to this day. Shout out to them. So it's one of those things. Do you want to be that type of person, or do you want to kind of do things like exactly what I did? I'm going to go to NONA because that's where all the big people are, and they can help me out the most, and I'm going to do my best, but I can benefit from that. And it's just, I'm not trying to say anything about
my
NONA,
umbrage
NONA,
is
Dark,
not with
and all that
NONA
stuff.
trying. My umbrage is not with NONA trying to benefit NONA. That's not my point, and I think you're mishearing me completely. My umbrage is not with NONA trying to NONA better. That's NONA's job. Just like it's Bold's job to make Bold better, it's MCRN's job to make MCRN better. It's every alliance's job to make the alliance better. But when you start to say you are, and how do I phrase this without ruffling feathers?
Well, real quick, nobody ever said it was only about server health.
No, you did.
Really?
But go ahead.
Yeah.
You did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
That's okay.
No, you go find a screenshot where I said that. Cause
It's
I
not a
never did.
screenshot.
Well, I can't screenshot a voice chat.
Listen.
Okay.
Stop.
Most of that conversation was not from me. Most of that
Now,
conversation
time
was
out.
held by
I'm
other
not
people.
saying it was. I'm not pointing fingers here. Let me finish before you react to what I say.
Go ahead.
I have no problem with NONA trying to be bigger. I have no problem with that. That's your prerogative. My problem is when NONA is trying to get bigger by pushing others into their way and trying to make other people play the way they want them to play. And if you don't, well, guess what? We're going to go sit on your stations.
That is true. And we'll do it.
Yeah, and is that for server health?
No, it's not. It's for our benefit.
No, it's not.
That's for NONA health.
So don't say it's for server health. If I hear you say that again
Well,
about
that
anything, I'm probably
part
gonna
of
lose
it
my
is
mind.
definitely not for server health. That's for our
Of
benefit.
course it's not, but
because that's what we want to do.
But that's
But
what
I
you want to
think
do. You said you wanted to do it for
so.
others,
So
which
there's
made me
some.
just sit here and scratch my head and say, "What are you talking about?"
No, I think there was some misunderstanding there.
server
I
health
think
is important too. It's something we care about, but it's not the only thing we care about. That's
Well,
once
you
again
should.
black and white.
It should be cared about a little bit more,
I cared about a lot. I spent a
or will
fuck ton of
continue to
time on server
decline.
health. You ask many people and they'll tell you.
I'll
I
step in here
think
and say that in Handy's defense, you know, as we have
If you want
had
to help server events,
disagreements and stuff,
how
please
about
let me finish.
go ahead?
We've had disagreements and stuff, but Handy is all about server health. I will give him that. But he's also 100% about NONA health too. Now that needs to be said, you know, and that is totally understood, you know. But as far as where we go in the future, Scopely's got to change things, and because everybody's getting stagnant at 50, it's just happening.
Mhm.
And it's causing fights. It's causing division. You know, it's causing, hey, we want to take over the server. Well, okay, it's fine. Well, you take over the server. Well, big fucking deal. Once you take over the server, what you gonna do then?
Be king of nothing.
There's nothing. You're the king of nothing. I see. You know, and
I
I
have a
do.
question.
And I have. And please forgive me for saying this, but I have total faith in Scopely that they will do something for the 50s in the future. To whereas everything that we're discussing tonight will be a non-issue 2 months from now,
Probably.
Well,
because
I hope so.
they're going to
But
create some whole kind of new bullshit that totally occupies our time and everything that we're doing, that we just fucking forget about everything that's going on behind us. And I
of course.
seriously think that's going to happen, because
Well,
if I'm running a business, that's the way I'm going to do it.
But didn't
if
that happen when everybody was locked at 39? Now, back then
Exactly.
when that happened, I
Yeah.
was at level 38. And I
Me too.
literally, that's when things expanded, is right
Yep.
when I was about to go to 39. So I never experienced that lag in play. I never experienced that roadblock.
Right. So this shit is in the works. And there's going to be a shit ton of level 22. It's going to be like a level 75. What the fuck? I can't imagine being there. You know, I'm serious. That's what's going to happen.
Well,
Well,
nobody
you
could
already
imagine
not only
being
that,
50 a couple
what
years
do you
ago.
think?
Yeah.
What do you think about Scopely maybe doing this? They've toyed with in the past year doing server versus server events. What about cross server play?
I
That would
want
be nice.
that. I want that.
But
That would
I mean,
be fun. That would be
wouldn't
a
that
lot
be
of fun.
awesome if
That would be amazing.
they found a way to do cross server play? I mean, and they've toyed with it. Look at the code. They've toyed with it when they had the invite only PvP system. Y'all remember that? You had to win something to get there, right?
Yep.
And it was an invite only PvP system. So that was cool. And I think it got glossed over. Maybe it didn't work as well as Scopely wanted it to work. But what if they did that to where that is like and they could call it the wormhole or what have you, if they really want to do it during Voyager, which is coming. And if they actually watched a Star Trek episode, which I'm not really quite convinced they have, but if they actually watch that and that wormhole shows up and that wormhole takes you to an independent server where you can go battle it out for server supremacy, literal server supremacy, and if you win, maybe you get to choose where you go. Now,
I would love it.
I'm just sitting here spitballing, thinking about, like you said earlier, and while I was just listening before I came and raised my hand. What if Scopely is trying to figure out what to do with U50s? Since there's so many, like, what was that server? Server 4, where there's like 550 sitting there? It's
Wow.
stupid.
I don't think there's that many, but
It's not, but I think that there's
I
like
think
50 or
they're
60
around where
of
we
them.
are. No,
And-
really?
Yes. Yeah, one of the
That's
older
crazy.
servers, or server 9 maybe. And there's a lot of 50s. And there's an alliance that is literally all 48 and up.
No shit.
I got a screenshot of it on some Reddit page, and it was like, what? No, fuck.
That sounds like a Photoshop deal to me. I've never heard anything like that. And
Well,
we talked to a lot of other servers.
Oh, I know, but we don't talk to all of them. There's 150. What? So, but
No,
I mean, look at
but
that.
you'd be
But look at
surprised
that.
how
I mean,
many techs
we've
talk
been
to.
around. See, gosh, when did we all join the server? June 19? Is that
Tech,
May
if
or
you
June
can
of
talk,
19?
Tech, if you can talk, come on up here.
It was. I've been playing since 18.
On this server?
Yeah.
Since 18 on this server.
Yeah.
Because I remember when this server was pretty much empty. I mean, there were guys like, Nash was there, and he's gone now. Of course, Inch and Q, and there were quite a few other guys that have been gotten. Big Moon, all those guys.
Now,
Yeah,
Ted, do you know of a server that has that many level 50s on it?
Any other server that has as many as
No.
we do?
No, that has many more. Like an alliance of only 48 up. Because CapnMal's saying he saw a screenshot of like
I saw
server
a
9
screenshot
or
of
something
one,
like that.
like server 8, server 9. It's one of the older servers.
Maybe server 17 has an alliance that's just made up of level 50s, but there aren't that many on that server.
But they've got to be figuring out, what do we have to do to reactivate these guys?
Yeah.
What do we got to do to get into their pockets again, right?
Exactly. Because these are guys that
That's-
spent money.
Well, that's the
Since
name
we
of the
got a
game.
bunch
This is
of
a capitalist
level
society.
50s on stage right now, like, would that be enough to keep you guys to have server versus server events
I don't
without
know
raising level
if they
cap?
did it right, but that can't be easy to do.
This shit sounds like the target audience, and who's going to
And look at it this way: if it's server against server, you're essentially going to have the top couple, like maybe 2 guys, really going for it against another server. And other than that, everybody else is going to be like, eh.
But you'd have to win.
I'm not
tickets or
competing
something.
against Inko. What do I care? I mean,
Well-
seriously. So I don't know if that's the answer, but
the last time that there was a server event, if you recall, there was a guy on server 15 named Wambulance.
Yep.
yeah,
ambulance.
That stayed up 24 straight hours, pounding hostiles in the capital system to win the server event. So if it's going to be server versus server, that's what you're going to have to do.
but that's crazy. I'm not willing to do that. I don't know many people that are.
The thing is that that sounds like a great idea, but I'm going to go ahead and put my feet back on the ground here and say that Scopely can't even add 3 nodes to a system without having to do 3 updates from all the shit that fucked up over the course of a month. So
They also can't do art for an Enterprise D to save their lives.
Yeah,
Right.
dude, I'm telling you, that when they come out with the Enterprise D, y'all got all these grandiose ideas. That motherfucker's going to come out and be weaker than a Kumari. Mark my
That's probably
words.
going to be
I
the next
agree.
discovery.
I agree.
Yeah.
don't crush my dreams.
So
If they ever
I will
do,
once again say that I think that it's going to be a G3, G4, G5 ship. And the reason that they haven't brought it out is because they haven't been able to get G5 situated enough. And because they don't have G5 and they haven't done the expansion yet for that, that's why the D hasn't come out yet.
So
They're just going to make it another epic
I'm-
ship G5.
I'm going to make a prediction about how Scopely will fuck up the Enterprise D. What they're going to do is it's just going to be an Explorer class vessel for exploring new space only. It's going to be weaker than a fucking ECS Fortunate.
Well, and it should
And
be.
all it's going to do is have a
Have warp range.
ridiculously specific warp range for
To help you do events.
That would be disgusting.
Well, that's
Yeah, but-
actually, guys, if you think about the show, that's really what it should be. Remember, it got taken out by a freaking a magnetic field pulse coming from on episode 6 of. I mean, I'm sorry, is my nerd card showing? You're welcome. But of TNG when they were locked in orbit with the Ferengi ship, they couldn't do anything. So the ship actually was huge, but it was a science vessel. Let's be real. So it wasn't exactly meant for
But that's
super duper combat.
That's like early on. It had obviously evolved quite a bit over.
Well, it had to, otherwise the show was going to die. Just kind of like Scopely needs to do something. But I think that the Enterprise D is probably going to be super weak at tiers 1 through 5, and it'll probably go to tier 10
Be a badass.
and be just incredible, right?
Maybe.
And that would make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that would make sense. That would at least pay homage to the timeline of TNG and movies.
Yeah, you guys keep saying that. It's probably just going to end up getting a bonus You're just going to get a bonus for Borg probe hostile grinding.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you.
And
Or
I
they
want
just
somebody else
never
building
do it.
and
first.
Loculus hasn't come out yet, right? So,
Hmm.
right, that the King of the Borg, Picard Borg, but you get into that, and Picard is as hell. I'm
If they
sorry.
give us a flyable Borg ship, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Oh, I know, right?
That would be
Well,
weird.
here's the deal. We've talked about it before. Why are we not? Here's another thing. You don't even have to raise the level cap. Introduce a new faction, and I don't mean some bullshit faction so you can get some Pringles to do research. I mean like an actual faction, like we were talking about. Handy and I were. What about the Cardassians? What
Yeah,
about
Cardassians.
the
There you
Ferengi?
go.
What about you can introduce them, and guess what you can do? With that you can introduce a whole new thing, just like where you have level 26, level 28, level 32, level 40, 34 ships. You can do the same thing. You can
Yep.
have a level 26 ship. You can have a level 28 ship. Guess what? Would I use those ships? Probably not. Would I still buy them just to have them? Yeah, you're damn right I do, because I have every ship that has ever been available to this point at my level. Even if I don't, I have an Intrepid that's tier 1, level 1. I've never used it, but I have it because I could. And so I can say that I have one.
Wait a minute. Are you
So-
Benicio del Toro?
I'm like Jay Leno when it comes to ships. If it's
So
there,
you're the
I got it.
collector.
I have literally scrapped every single ship I possibly can.
I'm still
The
trying
only
to.
ship,
But,
the only ship that I don't still have is a North Star. That's it. Just because I
Yeah.
really needed those mats back in the day and I scrapped it. That's it.
I did the same thing, and I had to ask for a Rialta because I
I did
scrapped
too.
that boy.
I had to
Kirk.
ask for mine back.
Kirk, do you have the hijacked ships?
I do.
nope,
Did
I
you
do.
put
All
any
three.
resources into them?
No.
I never did.
I did
No.
for the events. I did for the events, the Apex events, because it's real easy to pass the Apex events. I'm a sucker. Okay, fine.
It's okay.
Paint
I
a
get
ship
it.
yellow and tell me it's cool. I'll say, all right, yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it worked
They
for the
do look
Trans Am in
very cool.
1979.
They do look very cool. I'll give them
They
that.
are probably the best looking ships in the game.
They are.
Yeah,
Oh, that
they
Legionary's
don't. They
badass.
don't do shit.
Well, they don't do shit, but they look cool.
Oh, they're cool as fuck.
Well, it's like that
Don't do
Separatist
shit.
D3 that some of you guys got. I never got the Separatist D3, the red
I mean,
one. But that thing
okay.
looks
There's a
sick.
correction. I never got the Separatist one. I never did. That was the one I didn't get. So there you go. There's the one ship. And honestly, if they had a way where I could grind for it, I'd be doing that shit right now. I'd be doing it right fucking now. But can't get it. Here's the thing. Here's how funny I am about it. When they released like one or two event stores a while back, I was like level 39. I still spent a bunch of tokens to get the original jellyfish just because.
I did too.
Well, also,
I did too.
Also, sometimes they do those events where it's the jellyfish PvP, so you still kind of want that shit. You're still a little bit useful, but I still got it and maxed it out. I don't even need the motherfucker, but
Dude, I did the same thing because it's fast as hell.
Yeah, I have 8 jellyfishes. That was a stupid fucking buy. I just keep building them. I don't know why.
You want that $160 back now?
Dude, I just keep building them. I don't know why.
Wait, you're talking ISS jellyfish? You have 8 ISS
Oh God,
jellyfish?
yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
Good.
Yeah,
I got like 7 of them. I don't upgrade them. Hell,
got
I've not
2.
upgraded my original one to fully max yet.
Well,
My
someday
original
we'll be able to
no.
scrap those.
That's
fucking
what
hope so.
I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for. Once I get to level 72, then we're gonna be able to do that shit.
God, that makes me sick. Going to level 72.
Hey, it only need 1 trillion dilithium to get one
One gun.
one gun. Yeah, 1 trillion dilithium. You're welcome.
I know. I like
You know, the science of that just makes no sense. The science. I mean, just think about it. It takes the same amount of titanium for a auger as a D4, and a D4 is like a fraction of the size of the auger.
You could park 5 D4s in the shuttle bay of the auger.
Yeah.
It's scopely math, man.
You don't understand. what they did is Scopely hired discovery engineers. All this stuff.
No, they hired whoever built the TARDIS to make it bigger on the inside than how it looks on the outside.
Oh, if they ever bring up the TARDIS, man.
like the warehouses that you have to build that cost hundreds of millions of par steel that only hold like 10 million par steel.
Like 10 million.
Why?
By the way, those level 50 ships are built on a lot of tiers because people had to cry to part with the money that they spent.
Oh, okay. A dad joke showed up. They're the dad joke of the day.
But true.
Let me tell you, the Scopely math for what you have to invest for what you get out of something is like it's like paying a stripper $1 million for a hand job.
I know, right?
Oh, so you've been to
Vegas.
Same result, but you got it for 20.
Yeah.
Or did it for free by yourself. I mean, shit.
I mean, they're gonna have to do something. I mean, you know, as much as I hate to admit it, here lately it seems like they're trying to add more elements. Like, let's be real, this is a super complicated and in-depth game.
Oh yeah,
You know, I've said it before. I've said it
mobile.
before. You could get an associate's degree in this game. There's enough knowledge to teach.
I mean, and it's on a mobile platform. I mean, that's incredible to me.
Insane.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, it's really good. So for everything and all the stuff that we complain about, the amount of content you get from this game is fantastic. I mean, it really is. It's extremely entertaining. Because guess what? When all else fails, I'll go to, if I'm done grinding all my stuff, which is rare, I'll just send a ship to Taiga Core and grind so I can get speed ups and relocation tokens. And there's always something to do. There's never a point where you go, well, there's literally nothing I can do, so I'm going to close the game. There's always something you can do in this game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, faction grind, everything.
That's a double-edged sword, too.
Oh, it is.
Yes, there's always something to do, and then you end up wasting all your free time doing it.
It's just like,
but here's the thing.
You got to take a shit with your phone now.
It's like
you didn't before?
Well, it's like a 40.
Well, you know, I gotta admit though, one thing that they've really done right is this computer emulator that they did, with of course Ripper's mod on top of it, because you can't play without Ripper's mod.
Yeah,
but
that's pointless without it.
It really is. But I long to play on my computer now, because my phone's practically unplayable these days when I have to practically restart the app every 2 seconds to do anything, but it's all streamlined so well on the computer now.
I just think you have a shit phone, but moving on. You know, I'm just saying.
I don't have any problems.
I have an iPhone 12 and I don't have any of those problems. So
I have an Pixel 3 XL.
Yeah, they finally fixed the iOS bullshit. Yeah, they did that.
Yeah, my phone's working great now.
What do you think? What do you think is going to happen after that whole lawsuit between Epic and Apple, and now they have to allow like PayPal, and whatever, in these game apps on iPhone?
Nothing.
There's going to be more things for you to spend on.
Nothing.
I think
a damn bit of difference.
Yeah, I think that everybody thinks that it's something that's going to happen. It's not. You're still going to be paying the same amount of money. Nothing's going to happen.
Now I'll tell you when we know that the game is on decline. We've seen this with games in the past. We'll know when the game is in decline when the price of the packs are cut tremendously. When you see that $99.99 pack go down to $19.99. And you start seeing $5
there was so many new players that have joined Server 34 in the last 5 months.
Yeah, they've cleared a lot of the old bases. I've noticed that. We don't see any of those old dead bases laying around as much as we used to.
Yeah, and there's tons of new players coming into the game all the time.
And that have no idea what they're doing. So, yeah, it's great.
I want to interject something real quickly here.
Something to do.
Yeah,
all right, you know when you're trying to like upgrade a ship and you're going to the store, and you see you can get so many parts. Hey, I click on Explorer, and I can get this many parts. Okay. What I have learned is that, all right, I have to this point have locked in at Champion. I've locked in Federation. No, excuse me, not Federation. I've locked in Romulan, and I've locked in Klingons. And I noticed that from the point that I locked in Romulan to Klingons, that when I clicked on the thing to buy ships, there used to be like 5,700 parts. Now it's like 6,400. That's just, I'm paraphrasing here. Parts because I locked in another faction as Champion. Have y'all noticed the same?
No.
It's a fact. Watch and look.
Okay.
When you do it.
So you get more parts out of the packs the more
yes, you do.
You have locked.
Yes, you do.
And
yeah, when you go to I noticed it the other day. I mean, Grazzy and I were talking about it the other day. I'm like, hey, I was comparing notes to him. Like, hey, did you just notice it? And when you lock this in, you got more? And he looked back. He's like, damn, you're right. Well, you did. I'm like, that's something to think about. As you lock in each level at Champion, the store rewards you more for if you go to spend money.
Okay.
That's just something I thought might need to be passed along to everybody.
Actually, did not know that.
Well, I will throw this out there as far as the packs.
Well, I know they have different packs.
Well, look,
that they release sometimes. Key.
Here's
this is normal. This is normal.
Okay, this is just the regular faction pack.
Normal, just normal. Nothing special.
It's the one that we always have. The same pack we always have.
Yep.
Okay.
Normal ones. All of a sudden, it goes from 5,800 to like 6,400 on incoming parts.
Now I have an excuse to grind some more. Okay.
Yep. But that's the cool thing about having these chats. You know, you get to learn these things and you get experience from somebody that's already spent the money, been there and done that. Everybody else gets to, oh shit, well, that's why I want to spend the money or do this, you know?
Well, you know what? In 2025, when I hit Champion on 2 different factions, I'll make sure to pay attention to that.
Wait a minute. Hold on a minute now. To this point, hold on. I'm looking at my packs right now. Mine have all gone up.
Oh.
But I have not increased rep with. I'm still at the same because I'm working on the Romulans and the
now. They did say Scopely did release just the other day that they were going to be reworking some of the packs for competition upgrade or whatever their terminology was, where they were basically saying we're going to give you more for your money.
Well, good. We've been asking for that. Every
is that where it came from?
Maybe.
Every survey they ask,
getting better.
They always ask, do you get enough for your money in these packs? And I always say, absolutely not.
Fuck not.
Of course not. Everybody answers that.
Yeah.
You know what? No, they've gone up. They've even gone up on Latinum.
It's based on server economy. Like they do economy mathematics and they increase what you get based on the server economy.
So
like
just want to throw this. I just want to throw this out there. DT put this in the chat for August 2021. Over 40,000 new downloads of STFC occurred, and 7 million in revenue.
Yeah.
Wow.
This game is getting popular and popular.
So,
considering the reviews that people leave.
Those poor people.
Yeah,
but if you go and look at like the Google Play App Store reviews, the reviews are hilarious. I mean, they're all factual, but it's all 1 or 2 star reviews.
But here's
you might get a 3 or 4.
What you're doing is you're only looking at a piece of the data. For example, I'll use the recent thing that a bunch of people that that are hating on California. What they're saying is that all these people are moving. There's a lot more people that are moving to Texas than and it's this huge influx because everybody hates California. Well, here's the deal. I actually looked at the numbers and we crunched them. My friend Jim and I looked at them. So what happened was there was a slight increase in 2019. In the whole entire year of 2019, and they did this by studying change of addresses, it was 80,000 people that moved from California to Texas. Okay?
That's a lot of people.
Drop. Well, when you start talking about population, it's a drop in the bucket. However,
it's enough to lose a congressional seat.
Well, here's the deal. Here's what people are not seeing. is the fact that there is also an increase of people moving from Texas to California, so the ratio stayed the same. So we can say that there's 40,000 new downloads, but how many people have uninstalled the game and quit? That's what we need to be looking at.
Well, the thing about uninstalling
because
and quitting,
there's at least 50,000 people that came across the border that went straight to California. So hell, I can't blame them.
Goddamn.
Well, I'll tell you this: those people moving from California, they're moving to 3 counties in Texas. So it is. My hometown is Austin, and I'll tell you, my Austin that I grew up in is not Austin today. It is California, Illinois, Florida, and New York. And when I moved back to Austin after getting out of the military, the first 10 new people I met, 7 were from California. So I'll tell you right now, Austin area, yes, they're all moving there for the tech jobs because it's the new Silicon Valley. Oracle moved there. They're all moving there for the corporate taxes. And they're like 2 very good friends of mine sold a 1.5 or 2.5 bath apartment in whatever name of the town it is. It's in Orange County, near Anaheim, and Costa Mesa. And they moved to Georgetown, Texas, and they bought a 4,200 square foot home on an acre. Yeah. So that's why. I mean, you can't blame them, but the problem is they're leaving California away from that, and then it's increasing the cost of living in Austin. So it's
of course they just bring their problems with them, really.
And they're trying to escape what they didn't like, and they're expecting what they left, which is ludicrous. But
that's people, man.
I think a lot of them just want some water.
That's humanity.
Well, they're going to the wrong place because Austin has a shallow aquifer and a lake that likes to drop. So, especially when you're talking about going from 250,000 million people.
The point that I'm making is that everything, you can say that stuff, but once again, that's anecdotal. So when you look at the statistics, it's showing that there's no more coming and going really than there have been in the past 20 to 30 years that they've studied and they've looked at on record.
Well, not only that, its population has grown, and there's just as many people leaving as coming.
And like I said, it's no big deal. I mean, I realize there's 100 million coming across the border in Rio Grande and going to California. That's cool. But let's get back to the game, because that's how your population is changed in California. They're all going to California because, hey, so live there. Let's look at really quickly. I mean, I didn't say that'd be funny, but what right now I'm looking at, if I want to upgrade an Explorer, right now, if I were to click on it and spend $100, I can get 6,330 parts. What can y'all get?
Which pack is it?
An Explorer, just an Explorer. You can do Explorer, Interceptor, or Battleship. It doesn't matter. I can get 6,330 parts by upgrading them right now with 2 factions at champion.
Okay, so Explorer packs in the store. I'll look for parts.
Well,
I get 5,880.
Yep. And how many?
6,330.
Do you have 2 locked?
No, 1.
I have 1. I have 2 locked.
And what's yours again?
I have 6,330, and I have 2 locked.
Yeah, so it's the same.
Okay, but somebody could only do 5. Who was that?
That he's lower level.
Yeah, I'm 41.
Oh, 41. Okay, so is it? That's what I'm wondering about. Is it just like it's something that they put across the board? It has nothing to do with going to champion or anything like that. It's just like you're at 50 now, and we passed along something for you to help you out at your level. Okay,
right.
That helped. That by itself helps me a lot. That means that me grinding to champion at Federation isn't really not going to do me any fucking good.
Nope.
You see what I'm saying as far as this goes? But that's why this conversation right now is great tonight.
Yeah,
I learned something. I learned something. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I was thinking it was because that I had locked something in at champion, but obviously it's not. It's just something that Scopely did on their own. Okay.
Right.
Good to know. Good to know.
Do anybody else down there have anybody else want to come up and add anything, subtract anything? You want to fight me?
I would love for Trojan to come up and let's have a talk, because I have nothing against the man, but I'd love to talk to him face to face.
Well, we can do it in the after show when we're not recorded.
I was recorded. My bad. My bad. I didn't know it was recorded. I just thought we was like online talking.
No,
Well,
no, yeah,
let's
no,
we
we're
can probably
recording.
wrap it
Sorry.
up there, Kirk. And
Yeah, yeah. I think that's pretty much it. What we're gonna do is we'll go ahead and shut it down, and then we'll hop into the after party room, and then everybody can rap back and forth. Anyway, thank y'all for joining us. We're sorry that Tech couldn't be here, but thank you for listening to another episode of Trek Talk with Tech, Kirk, and Handy. Strange.
Cook got CapnMal key. Yeah.
thanks y'all for coming.